What would happen if you could trigger happiness through the chemicals in your brain at the flip of a switch? Is it even possible? Could you rewire your brain for happiness? In this video, we're going to look at what these happiness chemicals are, how they work, and how we can hack our way into activating them, and hopefully improve and maximize our daily happiness and overall health. Have you ever felt tired all the time, or even just lacked the motivation to get something simple done? I know that I've experienced that at one stage or another. So I decided to try a few well-known chemical releasing hacks, and then I rated them on a scale of 1 to 10 of how effective they might be, aka the happiness meter, and then the effort required to perform these hacks from my personal experience. We spend a lot of time thinking of ways to be happier, whether it's getting more sleep, positive thinking, or even maintaining close relationships. But we often don't think of how we feel happiness. You know that warm fuzzy feeling you get when you play with puppies? Well, that's because of a chemical being released in your brain called oxytocin, and a completely different feel-good chemical that you would feel after a good workout or a run. When you feel good, your brain is releasing chemicals or happy hormones. So meet your happy chemicals: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Each one of these chemicals has a specific job to do in the way our body functions physically, mentally, and emotionally. So let's get started with dopamine, the reward chemical. You've probably heard of dopamine already, with its constant featuring in the news, specifically with regards to tech addiction.
Found a surge in dopamine when people use social media.
Social media stimulates the dopamine.
Dopamine hits. I mean, I'm addicted to social media.
Social media and everything else, triggers a dopamine release in the brain.
Acting on social media leads to a higher burst of dopamine.
Dopamine is that little feeling you get when somebody likes your Instagram post or you complete a small task that you had to do. But it's there to motivate us and give us the determination to complete goals, needs, and develop habits. In the same way that if you like, comment, or subscribe to my channel, it would give me a dopamine hit, essentially. The thing about dopamine though is just as quickly as it comes about, it is short-lived, leaving us wanting more and then always looking to end that craving with a quick fix. So how do we know if we're going through a slight dopamine dip? Well, generally when we're experiencing low motivation, low energy levels right around, and pretty much just procrastinating all the time to get something done. So how do we hack our dopamine levels? Well, the simplest way to do this is by simply creating a simple, easy to reach task and getting it done and ticking it off. So my happiness meter out of 10, I would give it a 6. Then making your bed in the morning is a massively underrated dopamine hit. I would personally give this a happiness rating of 8, as it sets you up for your day the right way. And let's be honest, the effort is, I'd probably give it a 3 out of 10. Then eating foods high in tyrosine, so basically like your eggs, soybeans, fish, meat, seeds. So I would give this a happiness meter rating of 2, but with an effort of 1, because let's face it, we all gotta eat, and eating these foods aren't gonna spike your dopamine level straight away, but they're really easy just to include into your diet. We then have oxytocin. Oxytocin is usually referred to as the cuddle or love hormone because it is released by the brain when you have physical touch with someone. It's also behind the feeling of love, friendship, and trust. It's known to help fight stress, improve relationships, and generally just promote a positive mood. If you've ever felt lonely or disconnected from people, it's probably because you have lower levels of oxytocin at that time. And this is why I think dogs are generally man's best friends, because they are literally walking oxytocin. So how do we increase our oxytocin levels? Pretty straightforward, but through physical touch with someone. So go give someone a hug. I give this one a happiness of 9 and effort of 1, because let's face it, just giving someone a hug. Then you could just socialize with people. So go get a cup of coffee with a friend, just a bit of a chit chat. And I personally gave that a 7 and an effort of 4, because let's face it, there's not much effort in that unless you they'll want to. Then petting animals. If you have a dog or a cat, go give your furry friend some love. It is a great way of boosting your oxytocin levels as well as your pets. And I personally give that a rating of 9 and effort of 1. Just give them a pat. Lastly, have a hot shower. That'll release your muscles, release oxytocin in your brain, and generally that's why we usually feel relaxed and tired. Again, effect, I would give this an 8 and effort level of 3. I mean, it's just jumping into a shower, not too much effort. Serotonin, the mood stabilizer. Serotonin rewards you with a good feeling when you feel significant or important. When we feel a sense of accomplishment or recognition from others, that's when we generally feel its effects. This is why we feel good when we get recognized or receive a diploma or certificate of some sort. It's more of a calm form of confidence and accepting yourself. So what are the general signs having lower serotonin? Generally, maybe a low self-esteem, depression, or if you have anxiety or panic attacks, which I've personally had struggles with, that generally shows to lower serotonin levels. So how do we hack our serotonin levels? Well, going outside for 15 minutes each day. Research has shown that just spending a few minutes in the sun every day can seriously help boost your serotonin levels and endorphins, as well as getting your good dose of vitamin D. A 7 with the effort of 1, unless you're a vampire and don't generally enjoy going outside in the sun. And then meditation. Meditation is a great hack to boost serotonin levels, but not limited to only that. Meditating can reduce stress levels dramatically, as well as promote a positive outlook in life, which then in turn helps our serotonin levels. Personally, an 8 on the happiness meter, but an 8 on the effort to also do it, because let's face it, it does take a bit of effort and time that you have to set aside to get it done. Lastly, improving your diet. Serotonin is derived from the essential amino acid tryptophan, and because your body doesn't naturally produce it, you must get it through your diet, the foods you eat. So incorporating the foods into your diet can help increase your serotonin levels. So examples of the foods are like salmon, poultry, and nuts. So on the happiness meter, I would give it a 2 and effort 1, because essentially all you're doing is including it into your diet. So again, the science is there, but I didn't feel any immediate effects. Endorphins, the painkiller. Endorphins are released into the body when we experience slight discomfort or pain. It's our body's way of naturally dealing with and masking pain. Think about when you go and do a pretty strenuous workout. Usually that feeling you get straight afterwards, it's due to the endorphins being released. So what's the best way to trigger our endorphins then? Well, as I just mentioned, through exercise. Even just 20 minutes of exercise a day can boost our endorphins. And regarding this, I would give it a happiness meter of 9, but an effort of 9, because let's face it, you gotta get physically active and exercise, but it will be worth it though. Another one is watching a comedy. That feeling you get when you laugh so hard from your belly is due to the endorphins being released in your body. So I gave this one a score of 8, and it generally depends on how funny or good the comedy is, obviously, but effort of 1, because hey, just sit down and watch a good comedy. It's not too hard. Then listening to music. You know that feeling you get when you listen to music? Yep, that's endorphins being released. In fact, studies have shown that listening to music while exercising prolongs exercise because it reduces the discomfort felt from exercising, hence making you exercise for that bit longer. And that's also why I'm not the biggest fan of training in complete silence. I don't like it. You want to get that pumped hype feeling. So because of that, I am giving it happiness meter of 7 and effort again of 1, because who doesn't enjoy listening to some good music? Then have a few bites of dark chocolates. Only a few bites though. Now, dark chocolate is known to have many health benefits, and releasing endorphins is just one of their superpowers. But like most things in life, everything in moderation. And try go for anything about 90% cacao. Basically, the higher the content of the dark chocolate, the healthier it is. Happiness meter for myself, I would give it an 8. Effort of 1, because again, who doesn't enjoy eating a little bit of chocolate, even though it's dark chocolate? Like anything in life though, balance is key. As much as I would love to spend my days playing with puppies while eating dark chocolate, sitting on a couch and watching a good comedy, I probably know that over the long run that's probably not going to be sustainable and could probably have the opposite effect of what I'm trying to achieve. So try to live an overall healthy lifestyle and use these habits to kind of keep that in check. So it is scientifically possible to release these chemicals in the brain and kind of hack your brain. But remember, just keep them incorporated into a general, overall healthy lifestyle. And I'd also like to say that if you do struggle with any sort of mental health issues, I encourage you to find your local support groups and get in touch. You are not alone in this world. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.